What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be previewing the 2025 college football schedule for Louisville. I'm going to go through every single game on their schedule and predict their record for 2025. But before we get into predicting their schedule, let's talk about this Louisville team. This is a Louisville team with one of my absolute favorite offenses in the ACC, and I think this team could definitely go off and surprise some people in 2025. Louisville only does return 8 starters and a few starters on offense, but they certainly have playmakers. They lost their top receiver and their top tight end, but they do have their second best receiver in Chris Bell back. Another guy they have coming back is Colin Lacey from injury. He was a transfer they got last season that was injured, but in 2023 he had 1,400 yards at the Group of 5 level. So Chris Bell and Colin Lacey should be a great 1-2 at wide receiver. And Colin Lacey is super underrated. If he plays to his full ability, he will be dangerous off of injury. But they also add Dakari Collins from NC State, who had a couple of touchdown catches and 300 yards. And they add another decent receiver in Bobby Golden, so they have options at wide receiver. I also really like the addition of Miller Moss at quarterback. I think he could work very well in an ACC offense with great weapons. And of course, the true sophomore in Isaac Brown coming back. He's a breakout running back to watch out for. Last season, he had over 1,000 yards as a true freshman. He is truly one of the best running backs in the country. And I really like the offensive talent. It makes them a team to watch out for offensively. Defensively, they have some question marks, but they do return some good leaders. They return TJ Quinn, Antonio Watts, and Stenquan Clark as well, so they have a pretty solid linebacker core. And they revamped the secondary, adding a bunch of transfers. Jabari Mack, JoJo Evans, and Corey Gordon all combined for around 20 pass deflections and multiple interceptions last season. There's some solid additions in the secondary. And this is a Louisville defense that could be a lot better in the secondary this season. And I really love the offensive talent. I like Jeff Brom as a head coach. He's kept this team consistent, and they always do a solid job in the portal. And I think they have their best quarterback since Lamar Jackson with Miller Moss coming in. Obviously, not anywhere near the same level as Lamar Jackson, but regardless, I think he will be one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC. I like this Louisville team, and without further ado, let's get into predicting their schedule. They open the season with an easy Week 1 matchup. They will play Eastern Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky had a solid year last year. They went to the first round of the FCS playoffs. But this will be an easy FCS win for Louisville. They should get off to a hot start and start 1-0. They will then play a James Madison squad that could be a tricky game. Let's not forget James Madison absolutely destroyed North Carolina last season. They're a team that has been solid and tough to beat over the last couple of years. They also add a very solid quarterback in Matthew Sluka from UNLV. They add some talented receivers out of the portal and have a very good backfield. Defensively, they are very experienced with a ton of seniors. Bob Chesney has a pretty solid background. He's a solid head coach. I think he's going to do a good job with this James Madison team and keep them competing in the Sun Belt Conference. But regardless, I am taking Louisville to win this game. I think they can get it done. I have them moving to 2-0. Louisville will then have to play Bowling Green at home. Although Bowling Green did show some good things last season, they are dead last in the country defensively for return and production. They did hire Eddie George, who doesn't have much experience as a head coach, but he is a legendary name. A lot of people know who he is. And already Bowling Green has the #1 class in the MAC for the transfer portal. He could definitely draw some big names over there, but I don't expect them to be that great next season. They are just losing too much, and I trust Louisville to go undefeated in the non-conference, moving to 3-0. They will open conference play with a not so easy matchup. They have to travel to Pitt. Pitt is a team that definitely had a terrible end to last season, but they have talent. They return a very good receiver room. Eli Holsting is one of the better young quarterbacks in the ACC, and Desmond Reed is one of the better running backs in the country. Defensively, I could see them having a bounce back. I think they could be a solid bowl team, but I really like head coach Jeff Brom and this squad. I think they have the overall better roster. I like Louisville to open conference play with a win on the road at Pitt and move into 4-0. Louisville will then have to play Virginia at home. Some people are waiting for that breakthrough season for Virginia. Tony Elliott has been there multiple years. They keep getting a little bit better each season, but haven't managed to make a bowl game. Some people like the talent that they acquired, like Chandler Morris at quarterback, one of the highest passers in the country last season at North Texas. But he did that at a group of five level in a pass heavy system. And Virginia actually only returns 9 starters, a couple on offense. And I really don't see this team breaking through. I just don't like Virginia's talent, and I really like Louisville. I think they win this game and move to 5-0. Coming off of a bye week, Louisville will play Miami, and this game will be on the road. Now, Miami has a very weird schedule set up. They have a bye week before they play Florida State, and then right after they play Florida State, I believe, which leads to the game against Louisville. We know how this Miami team is off of bye weeks. And I'm not going to lie, I think that Louisville passing attack could really bring it to Miami's defense. Louisville nearly beat Miami last season, and I still have questions with this Miami team. Like I said, I like Miller Moss at quarterback. I like their young running back, and their receiver room is so good. I like this Louisville team to upset Miami on the road, and I do have them moving to 6-0. Although Thomas Castellanos has completely thrown this Boston College team under the bus, they are still playing football next season, and they actually have an okay roster. They returned some solid receivers, and their top receiver from last year and Lewis Bond. Grayson James should be alright at quarterback. But when evaluating the whole roster, I just don't see a lot of talent. They lost their bowl game last season. They didn't do an excellent job in the portal, and I don't expect much from this team. I think Louisville continues their momentum with a pretty easy win at home, moving to 7-0. Louisville will then go on the road to play at one of the tougher places to play in the ACC. They will play Virginia Tech. But this is a Virginia Tech team that lost a ton of talent last season. They only returned 5 starters. If there was a season for breakthrough, I think it would have been last season, but I think they missed that opportunity. They do get a good tight end back and one of the better quarterbacks in the ACC in Kyron Jones, but they lost a lot of talented receivers, and defensively they do have to reload. I still think they did a very good job on the portal. Terry and Stewart is one of the more underrated backs in the country, and they have a solid receiving core. The defense should be alright. This could be a team that is competitive in the ACC, but I still think Louisville is a better team, much better than Virginia Tech. And honestly, even on the road, I think Louisville will win this game, carry over that momentum, and move to 8-0. They will then host California at home. California is a team that has had a ton of ups and downs, and I'm kind of expecting them to stay where they were last season. They lost a lot, but they also added a lot. They lost a very underrated quarterback in Fernando Mendoza, but they also got Devin Brown. He was a solid backup at Ohio State. They do have a solid receiving core, adding some guys out of the portal, but the offensive line has some question marks. They are completely revamping the offensive line, and they lost some big pieces in the secondary. Defensively, I do think they'll be good. They also added Harrison Taggart, one of the better linebackers out of the portal. This will be a defense to watch out for, but like I said, they just lost a lot. And Justin Wilcox hasn't really done anything crazy at California as a head coach, and he's been there quite a while. Louisville has this game at home. This will be a tough travel for California. I like Louisville to win this game and move to 9-0. Louisville will then host Clemson at home. And I actually have Clemson and Louisville both undefeated heading into this game. This is going to be a very exciting matchup. But when I evaluate the talent on these rosters, and more specifically the offensive line and the defensive line, Clemson is just the way better team. This is a Clemson team that is near the top of the country in return and production, and they have a veteran quarterback in Cade Klubnik. I think Louisville will finally drop a game. I think they lose this game, and Clemson avenges their loss from last season. I have Louisville moving to 9-1. And the following week, they will play SMU on the road. And after losing to Clemson, I think they lose some of that momentum. I think they lose back-to-back games. Going on the road to play SMU is going to be tough. I already gave them some tough road wins this season. I had them beating Miami and Virginia Tech on the road, but then they have to go to SMU on the road. SMU is a team with good return in production and just some good talent from NIL. I like their head coach, and I think Louisville will lose this game and move to 9-2. But they will end the season playing Kentucky at home. It is unfortunate that they lost a couple of games in the back half of the season. This could be a team that competes for an ACC title, but they have some tough games at the end of the season. They will end their season with a bit easier of a matchup though, playing Kentucky at home. Kentucky had Louisville's number for a while, but it is a different era of college football. Kentucky is just not a great team right now, and Louisville actually beat them last season. I like Louisville to beat them at home in this game and move to 10-2 on the season. So there you have it. That is my prediction for Louisville football in 2025. I have them at 10-2. I think this team is going to take a step forward, and I think they'll have another double-digit win season under Jeff Brom. I really like his way of doing things and the way he uses the portal, and they got themselves a good quarterback. The schedule isn't too tough, and they can definitely win some games in the ACC. You guys let me know what you think about Louisville down in the comments below. And let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content and we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing and also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.